The world turned its back on me. I'm a cripple. We got soldiers, he got soldiers, but I got different ones. Ain't no way out, I tell you once. Don't pray for nothing, sin and curse. We can't forgive what's forbidden. Remain in them trenches. Trust in the Lord, but please forgive me for the times that I did. If rank is given, have your respect to your apprentice. Be about your business. This loyalty's a death sentence. Look, trying to pick up with a blind field. They said there'll be many mansions. I'm just grinding for my time share. Them devils ain't playing fair. They hunt you like Van Pelt. But ain't no getting out the game like Jumanji. You take that oath, it's a Dundee. They try to deal death to a priest. You won't make it out in one piece. So you can stand. Just make sure you got the heart. Say your name 3 times and it's death do us part. Look. So how you feel about this truth I done shown? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name. So you better keep it on. Ain't no more guessing. Ain't no more questions. Make sure my election till I'm tucked away like George Jetson. Murder for capital, now it's murder at the Capitol. The world in amazement, we like fucking raise it. I pity those watching life as it goes by. Be giving mercy in this life, I don't know why. In pump smoke, never tried to. The dead at home, my brother be the dead, it's all I don't. Either fold or salute, my nigga. They like, how you stay focused? I told them I'm motivated cause of you, my nigga. Brotherhoods and weapons, still got weapons on the scene. Now I never do my niggas like Bishop did Raheem. Never mind in all beliefs, they under anesthesia. Shorty say she need me, say she wanna let that love go. Told I let that love grow. But if I bring you to my bed, that's a blood oath. So, how you feel about this truth I done show? This ain't the life you think, little nigga. I should want. Even your own people go this zone. And the Lord said they hate you for my name, so you better keep it on. Yeah.
Are you sick of having issues with your webinars, wasting tons of time on troubleshooting with attendees? If so, you need StreamYard On Air. Hey, it's Dana.
Fuck, man. No coming, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. I'm back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go. Never let it free. Shit, I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. I'm back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go. Never let it free. Shit, I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. Yeah, you nigga know I'm about to bring the heat, right? Shit, I used to leave the street light. Hey, now I still keep the heat tight. Now nigga all gold like a green light. They say 144, nigga, you can get it. Ain't gotta tell me twice. Tryna stack a couple grand, get on some land, and put us on our feet in the field with the Warriors. And you know a nigga glorious, but we still keep it G though. Keep them tools Home Depot. Might hit him with the Rico. Hey, hit the nigga with the Rico. Hey, say they fucked up the rap game. What you looking at me for? So I know they can't stab me. That's why I keep a Glock handy. Might sip a little brandy. While I'm chilling with the family. Tell him a real nigga landed. Dressing all black like a bandit. Bitch, I ain't come to play. Bitch, I came to do damage. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. I'm back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go. Never let it free. Shit, I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. I'm back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a weapon, and I never let it go. Never let it free. Shit, I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. Back, now we balled. Ain't Babylon fall. You know the paper nigga walk. Nigga raised up, now I'm all in. And all I ever wanted was the win in the big body Benz. Now I'm gone in the wind, trying to stack a couple in. Now let's get it in, yeah, let's get it in. About to make the shit tremble. 144, the real. Yeah. About to turn it up a level. Heat the bitch up like lava. And it probably bring a whole eye mob. And all that we feel is our father. And I'm headed for the top dollar. And ain't none gonna stop me. None gonna stop. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. Go back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a whip. And I never let it go. Never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know. No coward, no nigga came back down. I thought I'd let you know that I was gone, but I never left. Go back now. I thought I'd let you know this brotherhood is a whip. And I never let it go. Never let it free. Shit I kill for my niggas. I thought I'd let you know.
Ain't got no time to play. Ain't no other way. I got them soldiers on the way now. Ain't got no time to play. Ain't no other way. I got them soldiers on the way now. I got them soldiers on the way now. I got them soldiers on the way now.
We still here, still standing. UPK, we never left the building. Commander General Yohana, you know. Whoa, check it out. Rolling to America. Seize everything and bring these crackers to their knees. I need everything and I do mean everything. I know they don't like us. Go ahead and try us. Don't make me call upon the Lord and put this earth on fire. I'm only getting better and I'm only getting higher. And you are getting weaker. That's why you cannot beat us. I know you do not like us. We don't like you neither. You win against the grain. You should be ashamed. You win against a king. Let's just call it treason. Can't wait for killing season. All that shit that you be preaching. Let me see if you believe it. They say they can't be touched. Well, I'm about to put my hands on them. No more missing nice guy. I gave that spirit up. Lord, give me strength so I can tear this city up. Babylon is falling, but it's just not fast enough. Angels with a nigga, so you niggas cannot touch. Ooh,
this shit not adding up. Fucking raise it up. Listen to them devils while you let them gas you up. Yeah. Said I pray they understand. I said I pray they understand. This shit not adding up. Fucking raise it up. Listen to them devils while you let them gas you up. Said I pray they understand. Hey, I said I pray they understand.
They want me to bite my tongue, they don't like criticism. Can't say oppressors the devil, YouTube restricted niggas. But they can post bitches twerking, police killing niggas. You can rap about catching bodies and millions listen. Bitches rap about they box and children listen. You say you black and gay, to them you still a nigga. You chasing Susie and Becky, they Emmett Tiller niggas. You got the ones that compromise, and you got field niggas. It's a real difference, it make me feel different. When I kick on my boots, tie up a meat tree, I know what we teaching that camp, nobody teaching. These devils telling lies without blinking. They ain't got the integrity, try to reach them. They say they conscious and they woke, but they sleepy. I ain't sparing nobody, I'm going in. It's a rap when I hop up on that podium.
This shit not adding up, fucking raise it up. Listen to them devils while you let them gas you up. Yeah. Said I pray they understand. I said I pray they understand. This shit not adding up. Fucking raise it up. Listen to them devils while you let them gas you up. Said I pray they understand. Hey, I said I pray they understand.
As I'm in the midst of applying for residency right now, wish me luck, Grammarly has again been a lifesaver with my application.
I got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look. The city eyes. It's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga. Cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times soon. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Fans taste sweet, told him make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Child become a man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evanston with Mark Quad, telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Focus out, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Never light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them other niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that sunk dirty to handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo. Spirit Asian, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they want, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Round with Yaradon, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember, I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence,
Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn right, I'm a UPK nigga. Straight out of One West, no contest. We the best to the niggas that's living, trying to contend with the stress. Going through the test, no access, cause you oppressed slaves. Niggas is dying off in waves. Living in dirt, now it's a grave. Niggas cross-talk through the crosswalk or the white chalk over the bodies of roads that you paid. Americans killing us, saying they fearing us. Put the drugs in the hood, now my niggas delirious. Put a gun in my face, all because of my race. Click, boom, flash, put some Skittles and murder my ass. Like a sheep to the slaughter, heart beating harder and harder. Baptized with these words, never dipping in water. So now we pray to the Father, give strength to the Father that's looking for the marauder. That's fucking taking our daughters, nigga. It's wartime. Lights up, nigga, showtime. Got the green light on that ass, yeah, go time. Either boot up, shut up, or get your ass up. Cause we ain't got time to be playing this all fucked up America. Heaven for the thief, hell for the slave. Reaping what you sow, meaning giving back what you gave for a clean slate. You try to imitate, you was always fake. America, every city, state, this is your fate. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa,
Whoa, whoa, to America. Someone on the timeline, giving the rhythm to expose the intricacies of the vibe. Who am I? Well, I ain't shit, but getting lit is a pastime. So in a minute, I'ma pass out. I hope you get it. If you didn't, you can crash flying. Kinda simple if you feel it, past your last line. But it will confuse a bad mind. A damn shame. That's the exact thing. Gonna get your ass fried. Bombs from the sky, rich devil lullaby. Then the nigga fly. Hope you got an alibi. Bombs from the sky, rich devil lullaby. Devil misses high. I can see him from the parking lot. Devil finna ball out. Devils finna fall out. All out warfare, nightmares in the big house. They murdered us for years and thinking shit was gonna turn around. Pride never learned. This motherfucker burns down. Yelled in them streets. Told them to breach. All of you angels bring woe to this beast. You rule for a time, but we play for keeps. I pray to my father, bring woe to this beast. Remember them times we hung on them trees. All of you nations bow down to your knees. Remember them ships, they brought us in fleets. Fuck they Apollo, bring them the heat. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, whoa, to America. Whoa, 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 to America. Whoa, whoa, whoa. To America.
God is going to destroy this empire, man. You about to see famine in this place. You think them fires in California is bad? That's just the beginning of what the Lord is about to do. Because you've been evil to the Lord's people. You've been wicked to the Most High's children, man. You've been destructive to the 12 tribes of Israel. Let me tell you something, black man. You got to put on your strength now, man. Put back on your strength and might, black man, because your day is coming. Your day is coming because the Lord is going to bring.
You could turn off that fan too.
You like it?
All right.
Want to turn it up?
Yeah, turn it off for me. Later.
Usually, no brothers, they wouldn't eat it.
All right, go ahead.
You know what I mean? Generally, like, you make the place. Let's see. That's a black guy, man. Let's see.
Brother, take a seat though, Baba Kasha.
Whenever you... Shalom, Israel, with Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started on 1 West, 125th Street, Hall, New York, under Command Jane Hanna. Let's go ahead and give it a hit, give it a hand. Today we're here closing the Feast of Purim, which is a feast that's in dedication of our sister Esther and our brother Mordecai, who helped save the children of Israel from being destroyed, who helped the children of the Lord from being destroyed off the face of the earth when the stinking heathen put a hit out on the Lord's chosen people.
Right.
You want to go ahead and anything on it now? You can speak on it.
Okay, so I want a brother to read the definition of Haman in the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary real quick before we start.
Haman?
Yeah, it's right there in the top corner.
Okay. Look at this. There's a Haman from the Zondervan Bible Dictionary.
So we're going into who Haman was. Haman is an important character in the history of Esther and Mordecai. He's an important part of this historical story. Go ahead and read it.
Okay. The great enemy of the Jews.
The what?
The great enemy of the Jews.
Go ahead.
In the days of Esther.
Mm-hmm.
Ahasuerus, or Xerxes, as he is known in secular history.
What is he known as in other history?
Xerxes.
Xerxes,
As he is known in secular history, have promoted Haman to be a high position in the court.
Right. So Haman was in a high position in the court, right? Go ahead.
Okay. But Mordecai, the noble Jew, refused to do him obedience.
You understand? And Xerxes, when you watch the movie Rome, Xerxes was in that movie. You watch that movie and it's an amazing movie. You got to understand those people were our enemies. You understand? They don't talk about us in that movie. They don't talk about the Jews. But when you watch that movie, you got to understand how powerful they were, how powerful that army was. You understand? But those men, Xerxes, he was the enemy of, well, not Xerxes, the man under Xerxes, Haman. He was an enemy of the Jews. He was our enemy. Go ahead.
Okay. And so Haman plotted to destroy the Jewish race. But God intervened.
Who intervened?
God intervened.
God intervened, man. Like I said yesterday, when you read this story, it's not a direct conversation with God and Mordecai, with God and Esther. But when you read it, it shows you that God was involved in what happened. God was involved in Esther overcoming their enemies. God was involved in Mordecai not being destroyed by Haman. You understand? And that's how God works. When you read this story, it gives you an insight into the spiritual side of how God intervenes in our lives. You understand? Keep going up.
Okay. Esther foiled Haman's plot, and Haman died on the gallows he made for Mordecai.
See, that's why Haman was trying to murder Mordecai, trying to kill him because he didn't obey him. He didn't want to bow down to Haman. And because of that, he wanted to destroy Mordecai. But because the Lord was with Mordecai, because the Lord was with Esther, we prevailed against our enemy. You understand? Is there any more on that?
That's it on that, sir.
All right, so that's it. I just want to get a little insight on Haman so y'all know who this character is.
Man, Most High Christ. And that's exactly the direction I wanted to go into as well, is to bring more information about who Haman was and the reason why he had such a disdain for the children of Israel. So, does anybody except Parak, does anybody know the history of Haman's family, where he was from?
Lost.
You want to take a shot at it?
For me? No, he was a Edomite.
Okay. What tribe?
I think he was he Amalekite?
Correct. Get that, brother. All right. Let's go ahead and get Esther chapter 3. We'll go back a little bit.
And for y'all who don't know, Amalekite is the tribe that the so-called Jewish people today come from. You understand? So that's who Haman was. If you go and look at a so-called Jewish white man, that's who Haman comes from.
Right.
You understand?
Go ahead and read Esther chapter 3, verse 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 3, verse 1.
Read a little bit louder up.
After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Right. So here it says he was an Agagite, which, if you don't know the history, you would think this is a different tribe, the tribe of Agag. But really, he is coming from King Agag, who had an issue, who was spared by King Saul. The reason why King Saul and King David had an issue and a beef is because Saul lost his place. The Spirit of the Lord left him because he didn't obey an order that was given to him from the Most High. All right. And so this is where this heathen was descended from. Read verse 2.
Verse 2. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not.
He did what?
Bowed not.
He did what?
Bowed not.
Keep going.
Nor did him reverence.
Right. See, Mordecai was a brother that followed the Most High God, man. He was a man that obeyed the law, statutes, and commandments and feared the Lord. He had no fear of a man. Everyone else in the king's court was willing to bow down to this heathen not because they really loved Haman, not because they reverenced him, because they feared him. But a man of the Lord is only to fear the Father.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Go ahead up.
If I could, sir, that's like you can make a parallel between Mordecai and the Maccabees.
Mm-hmm.
Like they was the only ones that was really willing to stand up against the Greeks.
Right.
While everybody else, they was, because they was afraid, they was allowing them to come into the temples. So the Maccabees, them brothers, was the only ones that was willing to fight back, and that's the same thing spiritually that we see Mordecai doing. So
right. It's just one more story that comes to mind too, as well. It's a similar situation. Anybody? Go ahead.
Shadrach, Meshach, and a bad Negro.
That's it right there. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yep. They got put in the lines in for not bowing down and worshiping some statue that the king had erected or whatnot. So we're gonna go one more thing. Let's go more to the back. So let's go to 1 Samuel 15:1. We'll try to go through this real quickly and we'll get back to the story of Esther. Go ahead.
If I could say something too, man, with what's happening right here with Mordecai not bowing down to Haman, even though he was made the highest over all the princes, this means that Haman had power in his hand. You understand? Haman had the power to destroy anybody who he saw fit for him to destroy.
Right.
And Mordecai did not bow down to him. You understand? Mordecai had something called integrity. And that's something that if you're a brother or sister in the truth that you need to have. You need to have integrity. You need to stand up for what's right. Stand up for your God. You understand? And we show that in many ways in ISUPK. You understand? We don't. Or one example is we don't stand for the national anthem. You understand? When that was being done, our brothers, the so-called African Americans, I hate to say African, the so-called Negroes were in slavery. You understand? The Native Americans were also in slavery. The bones of the Native Americans were already in the soil of America when that was happening. So we don't stand for the national anthem, man.
Yeah, right.
Our children don't stand for the national anthem either. Understand? So us today, how are we like Mordecai? By having integrity, not bowing down to this world. We don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. We don't follow America. We don't celebrate these holidays. We stand with our God. You understand? That's it, sir.
Oh, damn right. Most on Christ. All right, let's go ahead and get it.
It's a lot here. This is the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord.
Keep going.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not.
And do what?
Spare them not.
Keep going.
But slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass.
All right, hold it right there. Like this is an order from the Most High God that was given to King Saul to not spare the children of Amalek because of the evil things that they have done to the children of Israel, and because the Lord not only knows what they have done, he knows what they will do. We're in 2023, and we have a brother named Kanye West, or Ye, as he's known now today, that says some things about this people, and he loses $1.2 billion, $1.5 billion overnight.
Right.
Kyrie Irving posts a video, not even a video, he posted a tweet promoting, or just posted a picture of a movie, and lost his Nike endorsement, was suspended from playing basketball, was called an anti-Semite because of these people today.
Right.
And this is because Saul, disobeyed this order. Let's drop down to verse 8 and go through 9.
Verse 8, and he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword.
Right, go ahead.
If I could say something too, man, and it's heavy because there's a
let him. You stay reading.
One brother
read now.
Yeah, just one brother. It's heavy because the brother, the other one on my right, he's bringing out how the Jewish people came against Kanye, came against Kyrie Irving when they did nothing wrong. You understand?
Right.
And it's crazy how in this world we have all types of evil things being pushed into this world through the music, through movies, through video games, murder, sex, drugs, prostitution, hatred amongst one another. And nothing is wrong with that. They don't come against that. But if a man simply puts up a video saying that the black people are Jews, it becomes frontline news. You understand?
Right.
Kanye says that the black men are Jews, black people are Jews. It becomes the front of the world. It comes the front news. Why? Because these people have status, and if they see it, a lot of people are gonna come to it, and that should show y'all out there watching. Y'all might call us crazy. You know, since 1969, we've been called crazy. The way we dress, the things we do, extremists, hate group, all those things are lies, man.
Right.
That what happened to Kanye and Kyrie should show you that they don't want you to know that you're the real Jews.
Right.
Why? Because when you read stories like this about Mordecai and Esther, it puts a high self-esteem in you. It puts something in you that America works every day to not allow you to have that.
Right.
You understand? They don't want you to have that high self-esteem, the belief that you can do things without them.
Right.
So when you read these books and these stories, man, and you really believe it, it gives you a power that they don't want you to attain. You understand? And that's it.
Oh, damn right. Yeah, what the brother's bringing out is so heavy that you think about General Muhammad was bringing out about vile affections and how people in the LGBT community have these vile affections. It's really a love for someone that you would love them so much you going out and trying to rape them. But is it a righteous love? La, it's a vile affection. And these heathens right here, they talk about Jeffrey Dahmer. They go and try to put the skin on of the people on them. They try to eat the body parts of them because they want to keep a piece of them with them. It's like these heathens have such a love and a hate for Black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that they tried to become us. They've taken on our culture. They're wearing our traditions. They're keeping the Feast of Purim the same time we're keeping the Feast of Purim. Right. They're going to hold the Passover the same time we're going to hold the Passover.
Right.
But what don't they have? They don't have the Spirit of the Lord upon them. Right. You can tell how evil they are and how they treat the Lord's chosen people. You see what I'm saying? These are a bunch of imposters that really hate us and despise us. And this is, once again, is why it's so important to follow orders.
Right.
Because you don't know the consequences of one small action in your mind. You thinking it's small, but it can lead to something great. So let's go to verse, where we at? Verse 8. Let's start at verse 8. Let's drop down to 8.
Verse 8. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword.
Right. So he kept King Agag. This is where we get Haman from. His great grandfather was King Agag. If Saul would have put him to death, there would be no Haman trying to destroy and murder millions and millions of Jews,
right,
of Israelites.
Right.
If anyone's ever seen that movie Butterfly Effect, anybody remember that movie? You know what I mean? Back in the day, it's like he was trying to go back and change one event. And he's like, okay, I'm going to save this person by this way. You flash forward to the future. Now the girl is addicted to heroin. You try to save her life, and she ended up on heroin. She ended up becoming a whore. Okay, you try to save this, and now her brother becomes demented and doing this and doing that. And you go try to change one little thing. Now you wake up with no arms. You see what I'm saying? You don't see the effect of what you're doing, how it translates into the future. It can become something bigger, become something greater. The reason why they call the movie The Butterfly Effect is because they're saying a butterfly flapping its wings on one side of the earth can blow the wind and start a tsunami on the other side of the world. And that's what this was. He's thinking he's just saving King Agag, being political, and a couple hundred years later, his descendant is trying to destroy us. And you know why why was he trying to destroy us? What?
He hated us, you know what I'm saying, for Saul, killed most of his people.
Exactly. He remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
He had that in his mind. It's been passed down. Yeah, you saved my forefather, but we're never going to forget that. That's always in the movies. You kill this boss, this leader, Some people say, "Oh, we should kill his son." Some people like, "Nah, we don't kill kids. We're gonna spare him." That son's gonna grow up. He's gonna remember what you did to his father, and he's going to try to murder you and your family because of what you did to his family. You see what I'm saying? Right. That's exactly what happened. So, you got anything to say? All right, let's keep going to verse 9, and we'll get back to Esther.
Verse 9. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep and of the oxen and of the fatlings and the lambs and all that was good,
right,
and would not utterly destroy them, but everything that was vile and refuse, that they destroyed utterly.
Right. Go down to verse 18. So like it.
Verse 18.
Right.
And the Lord sent thee on a journey and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed.
This was a vile people, a disgusting people, a nation of sinners. Verse 20.
Verse 20. And Saul said unto Samuel, Yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord.
He said, what?
I have obeyed the voice of the Lord.
He's lying. He's not telling the truth. He's being dishonorable. He's trying to escape responsibility. That's what you can never do here in the ISUPK, man. We're a place of no cowards, no excuses. Right. If you're being charged for something, don't try to find a way out of it. Try to find a way deeper in it. If it's some other situation, then you could find a reason to say it was someone else's fault. Find a way to make it your fault. Find a way to be over accountable. It's better to be over accountable than under accountable. That's the sign of a righteous man and a righteous spirit. You know who else tried to not be accountable? Adam. Adam tried to put it on his wife why he fell, why he disobeyed the Lord. This is what Saul is trying to do. He's trying to blame the people. When he was the leader, he was in charge. He has to be accountable. Go to verse 22. Go ahead, please.
Real quick too. Another important thing to notice is that following orders is important, man. And that's why the Lord took the kingdom away from Saul, because he didn't follow orders. The Lord wanted something to be done, and it wasn't done, and the kingdom was rent from Saul. You understand? It was rent from him. Same thing with Esther and Mordecai. Because Esther followed Mordecai, because she actually obeyed him, things went well. Because Mordecai was a righteous brother, things went well. You understand? If he would have bowed to Haman, who knows? Maybe it would have gone a different direction. Maybe Haman would have been put to death. Who knows? But because Haman stood his ground in integrity with the Most High God, so go ahead, with Mordecai, because Mordecai stood his ground with the Most High God. You understand? The Lord was with Mordecai. The Lord was with Esther, because Mordecai obeyed the Lord, and Esther obeyed a righteous man, her uncle Mordecai, and the Lord was with us. And because of that, the whole nation was saved. So that's the importance of following orders in the ISUPK. You understand?
Right.
And if a brother's ever wrong like that, y'all don't be scared to correct the brother up here, because you know what I'm saying, we don't want to say it.
Right. Nah, those are first. Let's keep going. Where we at in the middle of verse 20?
Verse 22, sir.
Let's see. Where you he said he brought that king. Read verse 21. So like that. Yeah.
Verse 21. But the people took of the spoil, sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God in Gilgal.
Right. So he's putting it on the people. The people did this. The people under me did that. They disobeyed your order. But who did I give the order to? Who's in charge here? Who has the rank? You have the rank, man. You're responsible for what they did, not them. You see what I'm saying? He tried to charge them. And he said, they were going to bring a sacrifice to the Lord. Read verse 22, and we'll go back to Esther after this.
If I could. So
please.
It's heavy, because Samuel's saying, well, the people I was with, they wanted to keep the sheep.
So
did he say that?
Saul,
right. I got to work on that. So Saul is trying to blame the people, the soldiers that were with him, who went with him to go kill these heathens, right? And he's blaming it on them, saying they pushed me to keep the sheep, right? So see, you can't be like that. That's not one West.
Right.
So you get an order out, you make sure the men under you follow it.
That's right.
Don't fold to the men under you. You understand? If you like that, you're not built to be over brothers. You understand? You can't be a pushover. If you leading brothers, you got to make sure they're following orders too. Because at the end of the day, like we said earlier, someone always has to be held accountable.
Sure.
There can't be no one who's not to blame because there's disorder. There's no organizing after the disorder. Someone has to be held accountable, and that's going to be you. And Saul right here, he's being held accountable, but doesn't want to take accountability. He wants to make excuses. The man pushed me to keep the sheep. F that. What did the Lord say? He said, kill all the goddamn sheep. I don't give a damn if they look the best, got the best fur. No, kill them, kill the children. Listen, the Lord was being hardcore with it. You understand? So yeah, man, that's the, you can take that wisdom out of this piece of history right here. Keep going up.
Verse 22. And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings?
And that's also with children. You a sister, you got children. You gotta make sure them children follow what your husband has laid down. How your husband wants children to be laid. Of course, the righteous brother in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Brother in the world, that's different. Brother in the truth, the sister raises up the children how the father wants them raised. You can't compromise to your children. Same way a man, you can't compromise things of the Lord with your rib.
Sure.
Of course, you have to compromise in a relationship, right? But then you're not gonna compromise eating pork with her. You're not gonna compromise, you understand, the smoking blunts with her, right?
Right.
So that's the point. Go ahead, bro.
Yes, sir. Verse 22. And Samuel said, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
Right. It's better for you to listen to the Lord than to go and do something on your own will. And then now you want to have to sacrifice. You have to give up something. You feel like you're doing something righteous because, okay, I gave a sacrifice to the Lord. No, obedience is better than that. Just listen to what I said the first time. You don't have to make up anything. You don't have to make anything better. And don't do what you think is right. Do what I told you to do. That's a hard thing.
Right.
That's one thing that a lot of us fall short from, sisters as well. In their mind, they're thinking that this is, if we don't celebrate birthdays, all their friends in school, they're going to feel left out. They're not going to feel equal with every kid at the school that's celebrating Christmas today. Damn all of that, man. It's better to obey than to sacrifice. Now you wonder why your kid is a drug dealer. It's because they've been taught their whole life that giving gifts makes you valuable. If you don't have money to give someone a gift, then you don't have value. So guess what? I'm going to go sell dope to give my children's gifts on Christmas, man. And now you have to sacrifice your son going to prison or being murdered in the streets. Now you have to give that up when you could have just obeyed the Lord and not celebrate Christmas and still had your family. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But we don't see the bigger picture when we're on this lower level and we don't want to just follow the Lord. Yeah, we don't eat pork. We always hear this. Why don't we eat pork? Because people say it's bad for your health. The pig doesn't digest food properly, and then, you know what I mean, the sweat glands, and it keeps all the diseases off. Yeah, that's a good thing to say, but that's not why we don't eat pork. We don't eat pork because the Lord said don't do it. Right. That's the reason why we don't do it. Right. You can come up with all the deep scientific reasons. At the end of the day, the reason why we don't eat pork or shrimp or crab or lobster is because we were given the order from the Most High God. Right. Let's stay on that. Anybody has something to say? I think somebody had their hand raised.
If I could, sir. When we read, behold, to obey is better sacrifice and to hearken than the fat of rams. Mm-hmm. Is this still King Saul trying to blame the children of Israel? And
this is Samuel talking to Saul now.
Oh, okay, all right.
This is Samuel checking Saul. He's checking him for not doing what he was told to do, because he tried to use the sacrifice as an excuse. Well, they brought these good animals to sacrifice to the Lord. See, we love the Lord. We want to give him something. We're honoring him. But he's like, why are you doing this? And this is not what he asked. It's like almost like brother say, all right, we go ahead.
It's like
I'm thinking like of an example, like, okay, we need you to get to camp. Let's get to camp. We need to get to camp at this time. Everybody show up at camp. On your way to camp, you're like, well, let's stop at McDonald's and get some food for the brothers. In that time you wasted going to McDonald's, the brothers are out here in the Kentucky 8 situation.
Damn.
Brothers that had to go to ground. You didn't just follow order and get straight to camp. You went in sidebar, thought you were doing something good, when in reality, you put people in danger and in harm. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes, even if you are thinking your intentions may be good, it still could be something bad because you're not doing the order that was given. You got something to mock you?
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
Lean not on your own understanding.
Yeah, that's a perfect precept.
Mm-hmm. Proverbs 3 and 4.
Right. Yeah. Lean not on your own understanding. All right.
If I could too, if you could read that precept again where it says obedience better than sacrifice.
Sir. Verse 22. And Samuel said,
right.
hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams.
You see that the Lord doesn't want you. The Lord is a father, man, and he doesn't want to see you suffer. He doesn't want to see you lose that ram that you know you're gonna make money off of. You understand? That's how it was back then. We sinned, we make a sin offering, we get the best lamb that we got, the best coat. You're like, man, I'm about to make some good sweaters off of this lamb. I'm gonna make some good money off this lamb, right? You raise it your whole life from a child, from a baby. You love this lamb. It's great. It's a great lamb. But now you got to sacrifice it because you sinned against the Lord. It's gonna hurt you. You're gonna be like, damn, your kids will probably gonna cry over that damn lamb. They cry over the damn dogs, right? They gonna cry. It's gonna hurt your pockets. The Lord don't want to see you suffer. So it's better that you obey. They're like, man, just obey me. You understand? When you obey, you got to go against your emotions. You got to go against your mind, and it hurts. It's vexing sometimes to obey. To do what's right is vexing, right? You know what's right, and you don't want to do it because it's pain. It's I gotta do this. I gotta keep going to the gym. I gotta keep coming to camp. I gotta take the kids to school. God damn, you gotta do what's right.
Sure.
You gotta do what's wise, and it hurts. But later on, life is gonna be good because you're doing what's right. Now it's better to feel the pain that comes with doing what's right than to feel the pain that comes with regret,
right,
and shame, and being just damn, should have done better.
Right.
So you got to choose. You want to feel this pain, or you want to feel this pain. God is a man of war. You understand? That's why the Lord wants us to obey Him. In the end, if we obey Him, the outcome is going to be better. You understand?
Constance, like if I give an example for those that might be younger, who might be listening, right? You use the kids as an example. Not tell my son, hey, when you go clean the kitchen, make sure you wash the dishes, clean the counters, and make sure you clean the stove. Mm-hmm. But he only goes wash the dishes and then goes to bed. Mm-hmm. Now he's waking up at midnight to go finish cleaning the kitchen, where it would have been better off if he just did the whole kitchen like I told him to earlier.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He asked, why I got to do the whole kitchen? Because I said so.
Right.
But now, you could be in bed asleep right now.
Right.
Now you're waking up out your sleep.
Right.
To come wash some dishes and clean the rest of the kitchen like you were told to do earlier.
Right. And real quick, and you're gonna get used to it. Right. Once you do what's right, it's gonna become a skill. It's gonna become like you're just used to doing what's right. A problem pops up, and it's not gonna be so stressful because you're just so used to doing what's right. You know the outcome already. You know the Lord is with you. And if you're used to doing what's wrong, that's dangerous because you can get used to being depressed. You can get used to being just someone who's just in the wrong. You're just, you just not organized. You late to work all the time. You're not really going to camp. Next thing you know, you're not in the truth. You understand? Because you don't want to follow. You don't want to do what your father says. You understand? But go ahead, bro.
If I may, real quick, like in Romans 15:4, it says the things that were written aforetime before our learning. Like this is a sign of a good father right here. The father that's going to tell you to do something, you don't do it. Well, guess what? You're going to have to learn the harder lesson because you didn't want to obey. And that's how the Lord is dealing with us. And that's why these stories are written here in Esther, is that Saul didn't follow this order. The story didn't end. It wasn't over. You got some time later, the descendant of this same man is trying to wipe out your whole nation because you didn't want to follow the order all the way through, man. These stories are here for our learning so we can understand the importance of things like this. Go ahead, Parag.
I don't know the class.
Okay. Mr. Wild, go ahead.
No, you good, sir.
Go ahead.
If I could, sir.
What do you say?
I said I would just be beating dead horse.
Okay, no sweat. Most high in Christ.
If I could, sir, that just goes to show, like, the Most High knew they're going to try to eradicate you, and I'm trying to save you because I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Save my children. You're responsible, and it just goes to show how much of a terrorist these Edomites are, and how the world Earth would be a better place without them.
All right.
So what?
Most high in Christ. Get that brother hand. Get that's him. The world will be a better place without them. All right, and that's what's going to happen. All right, let's get back to Esther.
Come.
Esther, sir.
I think we just skip to verse 8, sir, if you want to.
Chapter 8 or verse 8? Where we at?
Chapter 8.
Chapter 8, yep.
Chapter 8, sir.
Come, 8 in verse 1, Bible show in the book of Esther.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 1. On that day did King Ahasuerus give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy, unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her. And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai.
Mm-hmm.
And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman.
Damn. See that? So what's going on? Haman was already was Haman already hung? Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had. So Haman is already hung.
Mm-hmm.
He was hanged. Do you understand? And what else happened? Esther told her husband, the king, Mordecai is my uncle. Mordecai comes before the king. The king takes the ring off the dead Haman's dead hand, gives it to Mordecai, man. When at a certain point, Haman was on top of the world. Haman was on top. And just imagine today. Things like this is straight from the Lord. You don't think it can happen today. It can happen today. You understand? You see Commander General Yohana. Next thing you know, he might be on the top, man. You understand? Commander General Yohana, a whole flood of brothers might just come and follow Commander General Yohana, might follow the men in the ISUPK. You don't know what the Lord can do for you. All you got to do is serve the Lord, stand in your integrity, follow orders. You understand? So that's what's going on. Keep going.
Yes, sir. Verse 3. And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet, and besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite, and his device that he had devised against the Jews.
You see that? So Esther loved her people. She's begging the king, man. She's doing it the right way. Like we were going over yesterday. This sister was wise.
Right.
She understood how to be a sister. Go ahead.
So, like, if I could, sir. So if I'm understanding this right, Haman had not just power, but he had already set something in motion that even though he was dead, was still in motion.
Yeah.
So she took his life more or less, and then she's like, also, what he set in motion, stop that.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what's going on. Keep going.
Okay.
Verse 4.
Verse 4. Then the king held out the golden scepter toward Esther. So Esther arose and stood before the king and said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and the thing seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his eyes, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces.
If I may, Let's jump back just a little bit. I would have did this like the brother. He came out. I didn't even know he came out focused on Haman. He brought him out in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. That's was all through my notes was Haman. Like yesterday, we went into the women and how the women, being feminine and how important that was. To me, Haman just stands out to me because of the hatred he had for the Lord chosen people and how that spirit is still alive to this day.
Right.
And the Bible says to never trust your enemies.
Right.
And we have been brainwashed and beaten down into loving our enemies, even though they show us consistently year after year after year that they hate us. Right. And they don't accept anything but obedience from us either. They don't want anything other than obedience. And let's go back to the book of Esther, chapter 5 and verse 9. We're going to drill this home on how disgusting this heathen was. Read 5 and 9.
Another one time. This is the book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 9. Then went Haman forth that day joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai,
when he what?
When he saw Mordecai,
he's having one of the best days of his life. Mm-hmm. The king has been honoring him, giving him glory, giving him his ring, giving him more power, giving him more wealth, more resources. He's putting him up on high. He's inviting him to these banquets, to these parties, thinking he's going to be honored. He said, we're going to honor a man today. He's thinking, okay, this is about me. He's going home and feeling elated.
Right.
But, read it from where it says, but
when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation against Mordecai.
Somebody look up the word indignation, Baba Gashah, really quickly. He had indignation. He was full of indignation. Like, how dare this goddamn nigger, like with the strong ER, not stand up for me when I come into the room? Do you know who I am? This is the spirit that Haman had. What does indignation mean?
Indignation, anger or annoyance provoked by what is perceived as unfair treatment.
Damn.
Right.
No, that's why I like to go read, because you think you know a word, but until you look it up again, you like really forget there's more to it than just how you feel. Like indignation, offhand, I would just say like hatred. He was just he was mad at him.
Shows you the emotional background of it.
Right, like he feel like he's being treated unfair
because he don't want to bow down. Because this nigga, don't want to. This slave doesn't want to bow down to me. Right. It's damn near like these people today, right? It's like when the COVID-19 happened.
Right.
What happened? They were mad. Oh, we can't go to McDonald's.
Right.
What do you mean we can't go out without a mask?
Right.
I'm a cry and pout. I'm a protest for breakfast sandwiches at McDonald's. They go shoot up the damn Capitol. Shoot up. They go to the damn Capitol because they're crying like little children.
Right.
Picture Haman. He's rich. He has everything, and he's letting one man change his whole mood.
Right.
Go ahead, up.
If I could, y'all know I always like to go into the Hebrew. So the Hebrew word for indignation there is kama, which means literally it means heat. That's what it means. So then it's of course figuratively used for anger, hot displeasure, furious, heat, indignation, poison, rage, wrath. So that's what that word is.
He was full of wrath and anger and felt like he was being what did it say? Treated unfairly, right?
Yes, sir.
So now there's another example. I'll give two more examples just to add on, because everything he was saying is exactly right. That was the spirit that they were going through. These people that have everything, when they get to feel like a nigga for a half a second, they will burn down the capital of America. They tell you that they love America. They tell you that they love the police. But when they are put in a position where they're in any form of discomfort, that damn the American flag, damn the American government, damn the police. They murdered a police officer at the Capitol riots. If not one, I think it was a few, about five. Five were put to death that day because they had to be inconvenienced. So the other example I wanted to say is you got to think about Salakia. I wanted to go into the Blue Lives Matter concept, but this is one thing. Dave Chappelle, It was a skit on Dave Chappelle, and they were doing interviews. Dave Chappelle was on the news, was on his TV, on his show back in the days. He was on the news. He was like on Fox News having an interview, and they were like, you know, Edomite speaking. He was like, you know, talking about affirmative actions. Anybody, you know, affirmative actions was when they were saying you had a policy to fix the wrongs of discrimination. We're going to try to hire more blacks and Latinos and put them in positions and jobs because they've been pushed out for so many years. And the Edomite was sitting there. He almost had tears in his eyes. He was like, you just don't know how it feels to be forced to do something that you don't want to do. And Dave Chappelle had to pause. He said, oh, like slavery? Ooh. Like, how dare you put yourself as a victim when we've been doing this for 400 goddamn years? And in your mind, you really believe the nonsense that's coming out of your mouth. And that's why
extremely like overbearingly selfish.
Right.
How they are.
And that's Haman. Right. Haman is the epitome of this. That he has everything he wanted. His whole world is perfect. He hated Israelites so much. He hated Mordecai so much. He ended up hanging on some damn gallows. You think about that. If he didn't have that much indignation for Mordecai, he would have still been alive. And the Israelites would have been dead, everything he wanted. But he went so far, and that's what's going to happen to your oppressor in America to this day. Because when we say Black Lives Matter, we're in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group. We're not affiliated with any other organization. We're not affiliated with Black Lives Matter. But the concept of what they're saying, that Black Lives Matter because you're treating us like they don't. They come out and say what? Blue Lives Matter. All lives matter. Damn. They don't even want to listen and hear to that you're dying and suffering in this place. They're going to try to put themselves in the victim position. And so America's going to go so far, they're going to be like Haman. World War III is going to happen. Nuclear bombs are going to come on this place and destroy this place because their pride has put them above the stars and they want to be like God. And they're going to have to be destroyed because they have gone too far. Precept.
No doubt.
Go ahead. I know. Let's see.
Ezekiel 35:5.
Okay. Yeah, that's not the one I want.
Obadiah 1:10.
Okay, not that one either. Go ahead.
Isaiah 14:21.
It's nope. Those are all good ones.
Though thou settest thy nest
No,
among the stars.
I just quoted that one. Nah.
Hence will I bring thee
lie. That I quoted that one. Was it Isaiah? Is it 47 or is it 26? So like I don't know the precept, but I can quote it where he says that because they showed us no mercy. They went too far. Salakia. It's in the book of Isaiah. They went too far.
Yeah.
That's not that one. It's saying that they go ahead.
There's Isaiah 47:10.
Yeah.
But thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me.
It's a little bit before or after that.
I think that's in Deuteronomy.
No, this is the one I want. Is Isaiah 47, I believe.
It's not Zechariah 1st chapter?
Lie. I'm gonna have to find it. So like, I don't want to sidetrack us too much. Let's
But
see where
if you could, keep reading. Keep reading. Esther 6 and 10.
Book of Esther, chapter 6, verse 10. Then the king said to Haman.
No, 5 and 10. It was verse 6, Isaiah 47:6. Okay. That's the one. But go ahead where you at, Esther.
5 and 10, sir?
Yeah, keep going.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 5, verse 10. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home, he sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife.
So meaning he refrained himself, meaning because he was happy, then he saw Mordecai, he was filled with indignation, he refrained himself. He said, nah, F that, you know what? F that Jew. Forget him. I'm gonna go celebrate my wife. Keep going.
And Haman told them of the glory of his riches.
So he's telling them, look, he's bragging about his riches and his glory, right? Go ahead.
And the multitude of his children.
And his children. So they're at home on the table, probably having a drink, him, his rib, and his friend, and he's chopping it up, telling them, just like today, right? They do that today. They go home and they chop it up and they're having a good time. They might see a nigger, a beaner on the street. Who cares? Whatever. I'm going home. I'm having a good life. Meanwhile, the brother, the Israelite, he's in hell. He's angry. That was Mordecai. Mordecai was angry, man. Just see a brother you see a brother in the street mad as hell and oppressed in hell. That was Mordecai. Because people being destroyed. And then you see the white people just walking by. Oh, look at that lazy black man. Look at him. We try to help them. Can't help them. They don't want help, right?
Right.
That's the spirit that's going on right here. Keep going.
And all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and servants of the king.
Keep going.
Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared but myself.
He's bragging, right? Keep going.
And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king.
So he thinks he's going to be invited again, but that's when he dies. Keep going.
Verse 13.
This is it right here.
Yet all this availeth me nothing.
Even though all these things that are happening to him, these great things that bring him great joy, he's just happy, exceedingly happy, right? Rich. He could have anything he wants, right? Anything he wants, he can have. Keep going. Even though I have all these things. Keep going.
So long as I see Mordecai the Jew.
But as long as this nigga who did not bow down to me,
right?
Even though everybody bowed down to me, except this one son of a bitch. Go ahead.
Mordecai the Jew, sitting at the king's gate. Then said Zeresh.
Hold. If I may,
yes, sir.
Read verse 13 one more time.
Verse 13. Yet all this availeth me nothing.
America is the #1 country on planet Earth. One more time.
Yet all this availeth me nothing.
We have billions and trillions of dollars at our exposure. One more time.
Yet all this availeth me nothing.
Keep going.
So long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
When I see these niggas out here talking about Black Lives Matter,
right?
When I see these people asking for human rights, when I see people saying we need to free the babies from the cages at the border, when I see some Hispanic and Latino men crossing my border
on my land, I was born on this land. I didn't come here in boats.
How dare you cross this line illegally and try to advance your life? I don't want to work in the fields. I don't want to pick any type of strawberries. I don't want to do that. But they're coming to take my jobs. They know they're lying. They don't believe that. Right. They don't want to do any of these things. They need the Latinos to come and work on these fields. Right. But how dare you cross this border illegally? This is the spirit of Haman. You see what I'm saying? And that's what happened. Now read Isaiah real quick, 47 and verse 6.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 6. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand.
The reason why we're in this condition, why we're in captivity, so the Lord was angry with us. Not because the oppressor is smarter than us, not because he has a better mind than us or any of that. It's because the Lord was angry at us. That's why we were put into captivity. Keep going.
Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke.
Right. So this is why they have to be destroyed. They didn't show us any mercy, no kind of mercy. We can work in your fields. We can work at your stores, at your Walmart, drive your Ubers. But at the end of the day, if we have any gripe or complaints about how we're treated in this place, they're going to want to destroy you more. They're going to want to drive to Buffalo, New York, and murder 10 innocent elderly Black men and women.
Right.
That's what they're going to want to do. They're going to drive to a Walmart in El Paso and kill innocent Latinos and Latinas. That's what they're going to want to do. Because you have a complaint about how you're treated in this place. You should just love being a slave. You should be happy that we rescued you from the jungles of Africa, that we took you from being savages and whatever the hell else they want to call us in this place, man.
Right.
We should be proud to be slaves in this good old America. Right. The Lord says, since you've gone this far, it shows any mercy. Now the Lord is not going to show them any mercy, just like that happened to Haman. What's the lock it? We can go back wherever you want us to go to.
So let's continue on verse 8, chapter 8, verse 5.
The book of Esther, chapter 8, verse 5. And said, if it please the king.
So this is Esther speaking to the king after Haman was already hanged, and he gave Haman's ring to Mordecai. Keep going.
And if I have found favor in his sight, and the things seem right before the king, and I be pleasing in his sight, let it be written to reverse the letters devised by Haman the son of Hammedatha,
the Agagite, which he wrote to destroy the Jews, which are in all the king's provinces.
Keep going.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come unto my people?
And that's the spirit we got to be in. The sisters got to be in. The brothers, man. It's hard to be in that spirit because we raised in oppression. We raised destroyed. So it's hard. And we're already customized to see our people shot, see our people dead, see them crossing the border. They brush it off. But if they came out and made a big deal about it, it will stir your emotions. But because they dumb it down, it doesn't stir your emotions. But it has to. You have to put that spirit in you to see them. That's my close kin. That's my sister. That's my little brother. You got to force yourself to have that feeling towards them, because she had this feeling towards her people because at that time they were together. They knew who they were. So we have to force that love that she had for that our sister had for her people at the time to today. You understand? What
If I could paraphrase another precept.
Go ahead.
It says, "Love thy neighbor as thyself."
There you go. Love thy neighbor as thyself, man. You understand? Love that's perfect. Give brother a hand. Right. Christ, it's heavy because Christ died for us. You understand? You gotta Christ died for us, so you really gotta apply that. You gotta treat this sister. Man, Christ loved this sister so much, he put his life on the line for this sister. Even though she's on drugs and strung and she got a bad attitude and she's evil, you gotta be long-suffering. You gotta love them as yourself. You gotta be careful how you treat your brothers, man. Because Christ died for him. He might be annoying to you, but Christ didn't put him to death yet. Christ is enduring his annoyance. You understand? Christ know how dumb it's like, you know how dumb he is, but Christ sees, man. Christ knows. And he knows you. You got to check yourself too. We got to check ourselves. Keep going up.
For how can I endure to see the evil that shall come upon my people? Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Then the king Ahasuerus said unto Esther the queen and to Mordecai the Jew, behold, I have given Esther the house of Haman, and him they have hanged upon the gallows because he laid his hand upon the Jew.
And if I may, just going over verse 6 again, saying, how can I endure to see the evil that should come upon my people? How can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred? Brothers gave an excellent example last night of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. We got a heathen that's a king that's in power, and we got a sister that's his wife. She didn't have the spirit of Esther.
She did not.
What did you say?
I was going to say she damn sure didn't.
She had the spirit of a dog, man. She allowed this heathen to destroy blacks and Hispanics more than anyone else. What you guys were saying last night, that the heathen deported more Latinos than any other president has ever done. Put more rights for the LGBTQ community than anyone else has ever done, and did nothing for the Lord's chosen people. What the hell did Michelle Obama do? Have a big butt? A big behind? That's why we love her so much? Sisters and brothers, that's the only thing she gave us was a rear end? How destroyed off have we become, man? We look up to her when we should be looking up to sisters like Esther, man. We should be looking up to sisters that are in the ISUPK under Commanding General Anna, that honor their people, that go out and feed the poor, that go out and clothe the people that are suffering, that care about the Lord's chosen people and try to bring honor to them and not to themselves and glory to themselves. You know how much Michelle Obama gets for doing a goddamn speech? She goes to different places. It's like $20,000 a night, $50,000. It might be $100. Somebody, I might look it up my damn self. But for time, you know what I mean? How much does Michelle Obama give for speaking? You know what I'm saying? But what does she do for her people in Chicago? Chicago has the highest murder rate in the land under her watch. She didn't do what verse 6 says. Read verse 6 again. And we're going to hold your thought, Tamaki. Michelle Obama didn't care about Chicago in that time. Go ahead. You go ahead. What you got?
$200,000.
God damn. I said 20,000. 10 times that.
She has the same asking price for public speaking appearances as George W. Bush.
Good night.
Wow.
Yeah, they treated her like she was the president. And she did have that power. She could have had used her femininity to talk to Obama to help the brothers in Chicago in the war between the GDs and the BDs.
Right.
She didn't do that. Crime went up on her watch because she didn't care about what? Read verse 6 up.
Verse 6, for how can I endure to see the evil that shall come upon my people?
She said, how can I make more money while my people are suffering? How can I sell more books? How can I get better purses? That's what she worried about. Keep going.
Or how can I endure to see the destruction of my kindred?
She can endure well. She can sleep well at night. She can go to the spa. She can go to get a massage. She can do all of that while her people are dying and suffering in this place. But Tamak, you had a comment up?
Yeah, if I could, I was working an event in Austin, Texas, and she was, one of the hosts that was getting interviewed for that $200,000
Right.
that she, does nothing for the communities for. And mind you, I'm working, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they had all the workers come down from the lunchroom and go outside in the rain and in the cold as she left.
Right.
Mind you, we had to wait like damn near an hour
Right.
just to see her leave. Like, bro, it's raining, it's cold. She not giving us no bonus. She's not giving us a tenth of what she making.
Right.
She's making minimum wage.
And if I may, I may not be the smartest man in the world, but the majority of those people that were working were what? Black and Hispanics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's who had to go outside. You got something up?
Concept, I just ask to add on to everything, you know what I'm saying? They say the Bible says a gift destroys the heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to work with a lot of Israelites back in Tucson for security.
Mm-hmm.
They would love Obama because Obama gave Institute of DACA, those who are over here, they can work and go to school. But now add on that, okay, he gave you DACA, but he also deployed more real people than any other president.
Right.
So that DACA was just to get you to turn your head away from the suffering the rest of people was going through.
Damn, that's deep, bro. That's very heavy.
Like it was a lot of ISIS going through Tucson at that time when Obama was in power.
Damn, that's deep, bro. That's how they do it. All right. Keep going up. Keep reading.
Sir, verse 7.
I think we read that one already.
Yeah, verse 8.
Yeah, verse 8. Yeah.
Sir. Verse 8. Write ye also for the Jews, as it liketh you, in the king's name, and seal it with the king's ring. For the writing which is written in the king's name and sealed with the king's ring, may no man reverse.
So now the king is giving Esther permission to reverse what Haman put out, and he's telling them write whatever the hell you want. Right? Go ahead. Meaning order whatever the hell you want to be put out. And what do they do? Keep going.
Verse 9. Then were the king's scribes called at that time in the 3rd month, that is the month Sivan, on the 3 and 20th day thereof, and it was written according to all that Mordecai commanded unto the Jews.
You already know what he's gonna write. Mordecai was a straight soldier. He's mad as hell. Now he gets the opportunity. Vengeance is coming. You understand? He's sitting there with the scribes. All right, let's do it. Give me some drink. Somebody give me some drink.
That's right. Yeah.
You got ink? You got enough ink in there?
Right.
Keep going.
He said, and to the lieutenants and the deputies and rulers of the provinces which are from India unto Ethiopia, and 127 provinces.
Damn.
Unto every province according to the writing thereof, and unto every people after their language, and to the Jews according to their writing and according to their language.
And if I may, what does this also show? This shows that Israelites were scattered all over.
Right.
We were among all these lands, among all these heathens, influencing and bettering their nations. It was bringing about when we were talking about the book of Tobit, that how the Assyrians, and during their time as leaders, they wanted to put people that had knowledge and bring them to different places to help to bring up their empire. And it talks about that in the book of Daniel as well. They wanted to take the intelligent people to their places. And that's one thing they always lied to us about us here in America that they wanted to bring these dumb, ignorant, shiftless people, when in reality they wanted to bring people that had a lot of knowledge. Because what good does it have to have a bunch of, I know we shouldn't say that word, but retarded people, or what's the word they use now? The special people. They try to make it like we were special, mentally challenged people, and that they just forced us to work. But really, they wanted intelligent people, because you can't take no kid with no Down syndrome and build up your empire. Salaki. It ain't gonna work that way. What the hell are they gonna do? If you got a whole bunch of people that are on the yellow bus, they're not gonna do anything for your nation. You need intelligent people to build up your nation, and they've always used this tactic. And that's the same thing, man, that was going on back in these days. Salaki. But we were all over.
If I could, then this also shows you that. This shows you what about Mordecai? Go ahead.
Shows you that he was a scholar and he was a tactful general.
Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Mordecai was smart, and when you read the book, his character, you could tell when he was doing this, he was probably serious. He had that gold ring, that Haman, that ring that Haman had. Probably sitting there with the scribes. This scribe knows this language. This scribe knows this language. This scribe knows this language, and he just sitting there serious, just thinking about the best thing to write. You understand? But what I'm saying is, because Mordecai stood with the Lord, because Esther stood with the Lord, now they're on top. Now they're ruling. You understand? They're at the top, and this shows you that's what we got to do. We just got to stand with the Most High. You understand? Keep going up.
Verse 10. And he wrote in the king Ahasuerus' name, and sealed it with the king's ring, and sent letters by posts on horseback and riders on mules, camels, and young dromedaries, wherein the king granted the Jews which were in every city to gather themselves together and to stand for their life, to destroy.
To what?
To destroy.
So that's what's going on. That's what's being put out. Go ahead.
To slay.
To kill. Go ahead.
And to cause to perish.
And make a damn plan. You understand? Make a plan. Are we gonna go this way? We're gonna catch them while they're running. You understand? Go ahead. All the power.
All the power of the people and province that would assault them.
You see that? Now he's giving the order to defend yourselves. Giving the Jews an order to you gotta defend yourselves. This is Mordecai. This is what's going out. You understand? Go ahead.
Both little ones and women, and to take the spoil of them for a prey.
Take their spoil too. Take their damn riches, their gold, their silver, their food, rice, grain, all that. Take everything. Go ahead.
Verse 12. Upon one day in all the provinces of King Ahasuerus, namely upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month Adar, the copy of the writing for a commandment to be given in every province was published unto all the people, and that the Jews should be ready against that day to avenge themselves on their enemies.
See that, man? And that's what's going to happen with us today. When we stand with the Lord, play our role in this truth with the Lord, the same thing's going to happen. Christ, you know, Christ is going to come back with those angels, and he's going to avenge us of our enemies. You understand? Go ahead up.
If I can real quick, the reason why he had to give that order to defend yourself, like the king Harry said, he can't reverse an order that's already been sent out. The order's already been sent out to kill all the Jews. That can't be reversed. So now the new order has to be to the Jews: defend yourselves.
That's heavy.
That would then end up doing that. Those who want to take advantage of the previous order, now have to know that these people are no longer defenseless. They now have the order from the king to defend themselves and take our money, take all our resources.
You already know what's gonna happen. You know, we're the greatest fighters. Go ahead up.
Slovakia, that's straight up race war.
Yeah.
And if I could, sir, that's like the whole race of Edomites having the one-mindedness of a lynch mob.
Right.
And that's civil war.
And the same thing today. Like, imagine the order was given out to kill all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And then we get on top and we give the order out. All right. And they ain't gonna stop doing it. white people weren't finna stop killing black and Hispanics. The brother brought out was heavy. So now we're able to defend ourselves. You understand? Now we're able to fight back. But that's what happened. You going up?
If I may, real quick, what is it called? Like what Hitler tried to do against the so-called Jewish people? What is that called? He tried to commit what? Genocide. Does anyone know that word wasn't even created until after Hitler dealt with them?
Damn.
This was genocide being put out against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in the Bible. They try to commit genocide against us here. They did genocide against us in the transatlantic slave trade. They did genocide against the Native Americans. But it was never called genocide because they didn't care about us. When it happens to some people like them, then you get a fancy word and they get to identify and explain the pain and suffering of their people. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But we were facing genocide right here in the Bible. Salakia.
Right.
Go ahead up.
Salakia. Verse 14. So the post that rode upon mules and camels went out, being hastened and pressed on by the king's commandment. And the decree was given at Shushan, the palace.
Mm-hmm.
And Mordecai went out from the presence of the king in royal apparel of blue and white, and with a great crown of gold.
Now Mordecai has the gown, the gold crown. He's on top now. Go ahead.
And with a garment of fine linen and purple.
Mm-hmm.
And the city of Shushan rejoiced and was glad.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews had light and gladness and joy and honor.
Right. All right, you want to just skip down for time's sake? We'll go to chapter 9. Let's see. Go to verse 2. 9 and 2.
It's the book of Esther, chapter 9, verse 2. The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus.
Where have we heard this one before, man? Zephaniah 2 and 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, man. They gathered themselves together and some good things started to happen for them. Let's keep going.
Throughout all the provinces of the king Ahasuerus, to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them, for the fear of them fell upon all people.
Once we're able to, now we're fighting back. Now they're scared as hell.
Right.
You understand? Because we know how to handle weapons. We know how to fight. We going?
Verse 3. And all the rulers of the provinces and the lieutenants and the deputies and officers of the king helped the Jews because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them.
What's the precept for that? It says the leaders in the province started to help the Israelites. Go ahead.
Ways please the Lord, even his enemies will be at peace.
That's a priest and prophet right there.
That was Mordecai right there, man.
Yeah, man. When a man's ways please the Lord, even his enemies will be at peace with you. They didn't have the money no more. Haman did not send that $200 million. He said $186 million. That wasn't coming through no more. They didn't have no incentive, and the people can fight back, and they good at fighting. There's a bunch of Mike Tyson running around like rampant pit bulls.
Yikes.
These Negroes, we got all right, man. Let's help them out. Salakia. Anybody want to fight against them? We're gonna help them fight you. You know what I'm saying? That's what began to happen.
Yikes.
Keep going up.
For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater.
He's just getting better and better. Better clothes, better linen, better fame.
Better.
You understand?
Yeah.
And this shows you that the Lord is not a man of just always being someone who's always in peace, lovey-dovey. You know, Scripture says there's a time and place for everything. There's a season for everything. And this is a season to give vengeance. And why were they getting vengeance? Because the Lord was with Mordecai. What Mordecai was doing, it pleased the Lord. It pleased the Lord that they were getting their payback. You understand? Keep going up.
Verse 5. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with
they was chopping people up with swords. They didn't have guns at those times. They was running up on them. You know what I'm saying? Sticking it right through their gut, just taking it out, slicing their throat. That pleased the Lord. Why? Because it was justice.
Right.
You understand? We're not out there murdering for not murder. We're not out there murdering.
Right.
We're defending ourselves.
Right.
You understand? And this goes for all y'all sisters out there want to be independent, want to be like Vashti. You ain't gonna be protected. You're not gonna have a man to protect you. Why? Because you only want a man with money. You don't want a man. What you want is money. With a sister like that, she wants money. Because a man could have money and his rib still be a whore.
Yep.
She still leave him. You understand? So what does that mean? You having money a sister thinks a man having money makes him the head of the house. It means he can call the shots. No, he calls the shots because he's a man.
Right.
You understand? A sister who thinks like that, oh, because you ain't got money, you can't tell me what to do. Why? Because her God is money.
Right.
You understand?
Go ahead. Who was Mordecai? He was a slave. He was a captive. He didn't have nothing. She still honored that man as well too. And look what happened. Great things started to happen.
Right.
She could have been like, man, I'm not listening to this slave. I'm in here. I'm in the house. I got everything I want to need. Damn you, Mordecai, and the rest of my people. You know what I mean? But nah, she didn't do that.
Mm-hmm. You gonna say something?
If I could, sir. It's just like Malak Yahushai. Malak Yahushai had the ability to be rich, but he made himself poor that his people might live, just like Commander General Yana. And what's amazing is that he's now going to be the first the first immortal to ever walk the face of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a man.
Mm-hmm. And it was heavy, man, because I was watching
you talking about Christ, not Commander Yana, for people get that we teach that.
Oh, yeah.
It just makes sure we saying that. Because you know how Commander Yana always do. Before y'all get to say it, that General Yana said that bow down worship. I'm reading the scripture. I ain't talking about myself. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Christ. You know what I mean? Salaki.
Go ahead, keep reading up.
Verse 5, thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. And in Shushan, the palace of the Jews, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men. And Parshandatha and Dalphon and Aspatha and Paratha and Adalia and Aridatha and Parmashta and Arasai and Aradai and Vajezatha.
Wait, hold on, man. Get out of hand, because them names right there, man. That brother did that, though. He ran through them.
The 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand.
That's honorable. They didn't take they riches. That's how much hatred they had. That's how much justice it was. You understand? It's like these people are so below you. They did you so wrong. You finally get your vengeance, and you don't take their car. You don't take their Benz. You don't take the money they have saved. You don't give a damn about. It's not about money. You understand?
Right.
It's about getting the vengeance, man. It's about getting justice. Don't give a damn about what you got. This is what we wanted. You understand?
Right.
And to the Lord, that was glorious. That was glorious to the Lord. You want?
And if I may too, he also he learned from that mistake too. That Saul didn't learn. You know what I mean? He got rid of those sons too, because those sons were gonna have enmity with Mordecai for the rest of their life. They're gonna raise their children to feel the same way. And we had to put all them to death too.
Damn right.
That's hardcore. Like we had some integrity.
We
had some damn integrity. Like imagine the Jews just walking up, running in there to because they was talking with Haman. Forget Mordecai, kill it. Because Haman had to talk to him about, I'm gonna kill all these Jews. Yeah, kill them all. We get our vengeance. We run up in there, do what needs to be done. We don't take none of their gold. That ain't it's unworthy. We're not taking no damn heathens gold. We don't need. We got the Lord. What up?
So if I could, sir, it says that they were in Shushan the palace. That's King Ahari, the king's capital. So that means we took the capital. And we didn't just take the capital. We went into the capital and we killed more than that white monk.
Right. Yeah. Right. Go ahead up.
The 10 sons of Haman, the sons of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they. But on the spoil laid they not their hand. on that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king.
What does the king say? Go ahead.
And the king said unto Esther the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces?
Go ahead.
Now what is thy petition, and it shall be granted thee? Or what is thy request further, and it shall be done?
Let's see what Esther said, man. Let's see her. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow also according unto this day's decree.
Keep going, up.
Right.
Unto this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows.
Hey, son's already dead, She's like, let's hang them.
Good night.
Still want to hang them. Go ahead. And listen, is Esther an evil sister? She's not an evil sister, man. Was Mordecai evil brother? No. But when people, it's like when the scripture says, glad shall be they who bash their children's head against the stones. Happy shall he be. Why? Because why is the scripture saying happy shall he be? To someone reading that, it's evil. Right. They're gonna take kids and bash their heads against the stones. The Lord's not evil, man. It's justice. Right. It's not evil, it's justice, because they did 10 times worse. Right. And they're doing things that we don't even know about right now. Right. But the Lord knows what they're doing. Right. And when the brother does that, it's gonna be at the perfect time, the perfect season. It's like eating a steak at the right temperature at the right time. Right. It's gonna be done at the right time, and it's gonna bring joy because it's justice. You understand? And that's what's going on here. Go ahead up.
I was gonna say, sir, just go along with that. You know what I'm saying? Everything being justice, the same thing. I was gonna be celebrating the Passover. I'm saying those stinking Egyptians, when they murdered all our firstborn sons.
Right.
And the Most High went back and claimed all their firstborn.
Right.
I'm saying giving us that justice. Not only that, but with the Maccabees. You know what I'm saying? When they hang their bodies, at the temple, show everybody, look, you want to come in here and kill our people and dishonor the Most High? This is the justice that we're going to exact upon you.
Right.
You do these things.
Right. And that's what Esau's scared of. That's why they have so much. They're just like Haman. Haman had so much, but he still couldn't get over the fact of Mordecai not bowing down to him. And that's the oppressor today. They have so much. Like they're at the damn moon. They have everything, but they can't get enough. Why? Because they know what they've done. They know the payback. Right. They know payback has to come. Go ahead,
Slaggy, sir. To build on what the officer is saying, and what you're saying, like these damn devils got a devil called Elon Musk literally making an escape plan from planet Earth. Right. Not only do they have Space Force, they're talking about terraforming Mars to escape. They know what's coming. So lock it.
Right. All right. You know what? That's you got anything to say, sir?
We're gonna get in them goddamn chariots.
Yes.
Go to Mars. And we're gonna find them on Mars or Jupiter or Saturn or whatever the hell, Venus, wherever you want to go, and they're gonna get justice, man. Esau is not gonna escape this judgment. It's a lock.
Yeah, man, if they're able to go to space and land on the moon without God, imagine the things we're gonna do with God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do more. Go ahead.
That's right.
We got to close it. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And the king commanded it to be Salakia, and the king commanded it so to be done. And the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons. For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day also of the month Adar, and slew 300 men at Shushan.
We kept doing it. You understand? We kept going at them. Kept going. Why? Because they were doing evil to us. They were destroying us all throughout the kingdom, killing our children, murdering our daughters, hanging our people. You go ahead up.
So like, is this like literally like King Ahasuerus is walking around the palace and everything, seeing everything's going on, and he's like, Esther, you cool now? No, not yet.
Right.
Well, and they're walking around basically like his guards and everybody. Just, you cool, Esther? Nah, we could do one more.
Yeah, because that was justice. The Bible don't tell you all the details, They're telling you the story, but they're not telling you the details, the terrible things they were doing. That's why I was like, nah, let it keep going. Let's, this ain't just. And like we read in the Zondervan Torah Bible Dictionary, the Lord was in the mix. The Lord was with her and with Mordecai. The Lord had the spirit on Esther to do these things, the spirit on Mordecai to do what he did, the spirit on on our brothers to do what they did. You understand?
Right.
Go ahead up.
Verse 16.
Verse 16. But the other Jews that were in the king's provinces gathered themselves together and stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies, and slew of their foes 70 and 5,000. But they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month Adar.
So we in different provinces. You got Jews over here, you got Jews over there, and we all holding our ground. We all standing with the Most High and fighting for our people, and we're defeating them.
Right.
You understand? Go ahead up.
Counselor, and on the 14th day of the same rested they, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
You gotta take a break, guys. We all that killing. You gotta take a break. You know what I'm saying?
But if I may, this is what just heavy, what just stood out to me, is that our days of celebration are so righteous and so in the spirit of the Lord, because the Lord is what? A man of war.
Right.
Just like these heathens want to have a celebration on the last Thursday of every November, and they call it what? Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving for their God, Satan, giving them the land of America, giving them the lives of the Native Americans. They have a celebration, a party, and a feast too. Well, guess what? We're not going to celebrate with you goddamn heathens. We're going to celebrate the feasts that have been ordained in this Bible, and we're going to eat, and we're going to drink, and we're going to dance, and we're going to play music, and we're going to turn up and celebrate the day that our people gathered themselves together and put you heathens to death, man. That's honorable.
For the right reason.
That's right. For the right reason. And that's why we're going to gather ourselves together on the Passover, on the Lord's 54th Passover, and celebrate the day that the Lord killed our enemies. Go ahead and say it, huh? Damn right,
man. So we do. You mind if we skip to the
end? Let's get to the.
All right, so Corey, you can go back and read this, but for the time's sake, we're gonna go ahead and skip towards the end. So you can go ahead and read.
Let's say verse 21.
Okay.
Just while we show there, but you see anything else after that? Yep.
Verse 21, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 21. To establish this among them, that they should keep the 14th day of the month Adar, and the 15th day of the same yearly.
All right, so this is when the institution of the Feast of Purim was put into place, and that's what we celebrated yesterday, and today we're closing it today. You want to skip down any further? That's the only thing I see.
Go ahead in verse 26.
Verse 26. Wherefore they called these days Purim.
Read verse 25.
Verse 25. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be.
Gotta go to verse 24.
Verse 24.
Yeah, it's going.
Because Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast Pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them.
Right. So he was rolling the dice and figuring out which day he and which month he was going to do this and send out this ordinance. That's what he was doing. He rolled the dice like, God damn, how evil is that too? Like, I could see an oppressor doing something like that. You at Vegas, you shooting dice and you like trying to get some, maybe need a new pair of shoes. This devil over here like, yeah, man, we're going to roll dice and see how many niggas we going to try to kill and what day we going to do it on. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were doing with our lives.
Keep going up.
Verse 25. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his sons should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore, for all the words of this letter and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them. The Jews ordained and took upon them and upon their seed and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to their writing and according to their appointed time every year.
And that's what we're doing today. Yesterday and today, we're keeping this day of Purim for the things that we just read. You understand? For the history that had to do with us overcoming our enemies. You understand? So now, and why did we overcome our enemies? Go ahead.
Because we stand with the Lord.
Because we stood with the Lord.
That's
right.
Simple.
You understand? And that's how we're gonna do it. And this time, the same thing. We're gonna stand with the Most High, and everything's gonna be all right. It's gonna be ups and downs. You understand? But as long as you stand in your integrity with the Lord,
right,
within your household, we're gonna be Tawab. You understand? So now let's go to read verse 31.
Verse 31. To confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoined them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed, the matters of the fastings and their cry, and the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book.
You see, so this book was written, you understand, by scribes. You understand?
If I could. So Esther and Mordecai did all of this, and then after it was done, they wrote the
They
book.
documented it. They documented it. You understand? That's how we got it today. You understand? It's I wouldn't say the scribes wrote it, right? I'm assuming, but I'm not gonna say that because that's not what I was taught. But we have Esther today because it was written for us to remember it. You understand? And you can even look in I'm pretty sure there's other books out there that goes into the book and to the history of Esther. You understand? But definitely, these things here are real history. Now I'll go read verse 10 and 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 10, verse 1. And the king Ahasuerus laid a tribute upon the land and upon the isles of the sea, and all the acts of his power and of his might, and the declaration of the greatness of Mordecai.
Greatness of Mordecai, man. Why was Mordecai great? Because he stood with the Lord.
Right.
Why was Esther great? Because she stood with the Lord.
Right.
How did she stand with the Lord?
She stood with
Go ahead.
She stood with the man of the Lord.
She stood with the man of the Lord. And why was a man able to do what he did?
Because he stood with the Lord.
Because he stood with the Lord. It goes back to the precepts. The head of man is Christ. The head of Christ is God. The head of the woman is man.
Damn right.
You understand? The Bible don't change. You understand? Keep going.
Okay, is there anything? Yeah, what else we got? Because I just want to bring one precept on that same topic, but we can wrap it up right here, and then I got one more.
You want me to finish out, sir?
Yeah, go ahead, finish out.
The declaration of the greatness of Mordecai, whereunto the king advanced him, are they not written in the book of the chronicles of the king of Media and Persia? For Mordecai the Jew was next unto King Ahasuerus, and great among the Jews, and accepted of the multitude of his brethren, seeking the wealth of his people, and speaking peace to all his seed.
And that's the spirit we gotta have, man. The spirit of Mordecai. He was seeking the wealth of his people. And who's like that? Commander General Yohanan.
Damn right.
The man that we follow, who follows Christ follows God, he seeks the wealth of our people.
Damn right.
You understand? That's how we gotta be. We gotta love our people, man. That don't mean you're going to work with these heathens. There's nothing wrong with that. The Bible says get along with all men as best as you can. I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You got to get along with these people because we're among them. You understand? But listen, Esther was married to a heathen.
Right.
Mordecai was with the heathen.
Right.
But what did he know? He was seeking out his people's wealth.
That's right.
You understand? That's how that's the spirit we got to have.
Damn right.
No, that was it, sir.
Okay, Most High Christ. Let's go to the editions of Esther, chapter 13 and verse 8. And just to nail it on home what Officer Oscar Ward was saying of how the spirit of what Mordecai had. We need a pocket for this brother.
Right here, sir.
You got it right there for him? Okay. I got it right here, but he needed one, but he got it now. All right. But just to nail it on home with the spirit of Mordecai, this is something heavy that he's about to say right here, of how much love he had for his people. but also how much love he had for the Most High God. So let's go ahead and read from verse 8, 13 and 8.
14 and 8, sir.
Chapter 13, verse 8.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 13, verse 8.
And that just says Mordecai. It says some spelling different, but
yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Then Mordecai thought upon all the works of the Lord and made his prayer unto him, saying, O Lord, Lord, the King Almighty, for the whole world is in thy power. And if thou hast appointed to save Israel, there is no man that can gainsay thee.
Right. There's no one that can go against the Lord if he puts this ordinance out to save the children of Israel. Keep going.
Verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
For thou hast made heaven and earth and all the wondrous things under the heaven.
Right.
Thou art Lord of all things, and there is no man that can resist thee, which art the Lord. Thou knowest all things, and thou knowest, Lord, that it was neither in contempt nor pride, nor for any desire of glory that I did not bow down to proud Haman.
Right. Like he didn't do this for any pride or any self-glory or vainglory just because he felt like he was that nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna bow down to Haman. That's not the spirit of what he was doing. That's not the spirit of why we go out and say the oppressor is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of.
Right.
It's not to make us look good or to sound glorious. Let's keep reading.
For I could have been content with goodwill for the salvation of Israel to kiss the soles of his feet.
This is the heaviest part to me. He said, to save my people, I would have bowed down and kissed the feet of this heathen because I love my nation so much. But the only reason why I didn't do it is what? Keep going.
But I did this, that I might not prefer the glory of man above the glory of God.
Good night.
Neither will I worship any but thee, O God. Neither will I do it in pride.
Right. That's why he didn't bow down to this heathen. I only bow down to the Lord. That's the only person that I'm going to give this reverence to, man. Damn that. Damn who you are. And like you said, it's not just for me. If I would have known this would have led to the destruction of my people, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have done it like just to get everybody killed. Like that's kind of like, I'm not gonna say maybe a wrong example. I'm saying like Nat Turner. Nat Turner might have had good intentions, but when certain brothers do things and it hasn't been ordained by the Lord, then you get a lot of your people hurt. Right. I wouldn't even use Nat Turner. I'm gonna use that dude, the NFAC. The non-effing around coalition.
Yeah.
That brother that tried to build a movement and gonna pick up guns and go fight against, and he ended up getting everybody sent to prison and locked up, and all the women getting shot. AR-15s, like that's the spirit. Haman didn't have that spirit. He didn't do this for himself. Oh, Sluck, see, it happens. You're not the only one. It happens.
I'm sitting here not catching it. Damn.
Mordecai did not do what? Mordecai did not do it because he cared about himself. He really loved his people, but he just loved the Lord more, and he knew that his people would be fine as long as we serve the Lord first. But go ahead, Ak.
Now that's heavy that you brought forward, whatever his name was.
Haman.
No. DJ, Dr. Grandmaster J.
Yeah. He always
Grandmaster Gay. So like, we're gonna get this channel clip. So like. Go ahead.
He always tried to refer the Most High to Yahweh.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
that's the first mistake that we make as Israelites, giving our trust to a pagan culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not Jewish. We are the Jews.
That's right.
And we got to realize that the ISUPK has answers. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? That's right. And you know, you can tell it wasn't the Lord upon him because he had women all in the military. You know what I'm saying? I remember Commander General Yohana, he said, I'll be damned if I'm hiding out in the woods, the goddamn enemy smelling your period, finding us getting the whole platoon killed, man. He was vexed when that brother tried to, build an army like that, man. That was not of the Lord, and the Lord dealt with them because of that, man.
Right.
We would never put our sisters in that position, in that situation, man, because We protect Black women. We protect Latino women. We protect Native American women. That's what we're about. We're not about putting them on the front lines, man, to make them feel good. You know what I'm saying? That's why people end up getting shot while they lining up with themselves. But you have something to say?
It's a lot of researchers to build on what you're saying. That's even in the so-called United States military. That's why females cannot be snipers because they cycle.
Damn.
And if they cycle and war dogs are out there, which are all over Earth,
Right.
it's easy for them to pick up that scent.
Exactly.
It's lucky.
Yeah. It's deeper than rap, man. This is serious.
Deeper than rap.
Not that we don't just say this to be saying these things. It makes sense. You know what I mean? And a real woman would not want to be doing that either, man. Because if you want to raise some children up, the trauma and all the things of seeing, like, it's hard for a man, like, to be out there seeing these things, man. Brothers, you know, it's not something that's just pleasant. Warfare is not a beautiful thing, man. And so we have to have that balance in our families. Somebody got to be able to go to war. Somebody has to stay with the children. You know what I'm saying? That's the way things are set up. You got anything else?
Nah, bro.
Lucky. Though warfare is not pleasant, slaughter is.
Yeah.
What's that precept?
It was pleasant.
Prepare slaughter.
It was pleasant to Mordecai.
And
right.
It's going to be pleasant for us too. You know what I mean?
We had to feast for it.
When the time is right, you can't bite into an apple when it's barely growing.
This is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Damn.
You gotta wait when it's nice and ready.
Right.
And that's when Christ is gonna come back.
Come on.
You know?
I got a big precept. Ecclesiastes again, so 3 and keep going until you get to like 16. Sometimes
right.
kill,
Right.
sometimes for peace.
Right.
Sometimes for love,
Right.
sometimes for hate.
That's right.
The angel's gonna do something glorious.
Oh,
Right.
man.
What's that precept where the angel was pulling the sword and they was dying? The angel was pulling the sword. Every time he kept pulling the sword, people will fall on David's side. Now imagine, just think about what the angel's gonna do when they come.
Right.
They're gonna be like, what I was talking to him about the anime. They go like this, and they get cut in half. They're gonna be like, zing. It's gonna be spiritual. And that's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird, man. It's gonna get weird. We're gonna see some crazy stuff.
And exactly, and just add on that, and we can close out after that. Just to add on to that is, I remember Commander Johanna saying something that was so heavy, is that like the things, it's gonna be glorious for us in the UPK, right? But the things that are needed to be done to the oppressor are so much that we wouldn't do it. It would get to a line where we were not gonna do this. The things that they deserve, we would be like, okay, this is enough, Lord. And the Lord's like, no, I'm going to have to send angels. I'm going to have to send my son to do these things to these people that we would even be like, all right, this is, I'm good. I'm good. It's like, nah, they need more. Yes. You know what I'm saying? They deserve more. There's things that you haven't seen. You don't know where that girl is that's been missing off the reservation.
Right.
You don't see her in that basement crying out right now. The Lord does. You don't see that little boy that was fed to an alligator. You don't hear about the baby that was cut out of the native's womb. You understand? Like, we didn't see all of these things. So we might want to show them mercy when they don't even deserve it. And the Lord's going to have to do it for us. You know what I mean?
If I could, sir, and it's heavy, just the one last thing. It's like say you just standing in the front, right? And you see somebody walking and you see somebody come by, just shoot them. Or you see some people come by and jump them, knock his teeth out. You're like, damn, why didn't do him dirty like that? He just molested their daughter.
Right.
So they to them it's not wrong. To you it's wrong because you don't really know what's going on. That's how it's gonna be. From what I was taught, that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be so terrible. We're gonna have to go into chariots and not see it. Because even though we know they're evil,
right,
the level of evil that the Lord's gonna do to them is gonna be too much for us.
Oh,
it's gonna be like, oh damn, hold up. So we gotta be in the chariots.
Right.
It's damn near like the sister who turned around and turned to a pillar of salt.
Right.
Because of the destruction that was going on. We're not gonna be able to handle that. Right? You understand? It's gonna be too much for us.
Man,
you understand? It's gonna be like some real gruesome. It says it's gonna be gnashing the teeth.
Right.
It means like when you doing that, you feeling pain. You
Right.
understand? Go ahead.
Like I won't say I'm different from most people, but I study a lot of old pagan ways they used to torture us. You know what I mean? Because I've experienced police brutality.
Yeah,
right.
And they used to put us in a burning bull
right.
and cook us.
Listen, you might stay down. You might be with the angels, right?
I want to be.
You might be down there.
Hey,
listen, the Lord knows
Right.
who is who. You understand?
Yeah. And if I may, because I know some brothers like this, brother, and that's what makes me like when I was saying a few weeks ago that the Lord is going to do things that we can't even imagine. Like imagine a brother with this spirit being like, Slaki, I don't want, give them some mercy. Like you got to imagine the most turned up brother that wants to do I want to take that fingernail. Like these brothers to be having some idea. We be like, damn, you might need to seek some type of therapy. You gotta imagine that brother that's like that being like, Salaki, I don't want. I think they've had enough. That's how hard the Lord is gonna go, man. That's how hard the Lord. And that's how hard we want him to go. We want the Maccas to beg our Lord to give them some mercy, man. Because that's how hard we want. The Lord's gonna go. But if I may, going back to one more thing, I know we're gonna keep you standing, but it's a perfect example, just like you said about somebody molested their daughter. There was a book I was reading before. It's called "The Rich Get Rich and the Poor Get Prison." The rich get rich and the poor get prison. It's about a heathen. He had been in prison for years and years. He was a drug addict, whatever. He went to France. He got off of drugs. He became a doctor, getting money and all these things. Goes to France on a vacation with his wife, and some young poor people from France end up robbing his wife, stealing his purse. He tried to chase him down, couldn't catch up to him. And he was so mad. He's like, if I would have caught up to him, I probably would have tried to kill him. When he got back to the room, he started thinking about it. He was like, damn, we're spending all this money in France. They got the Eiffel Tower, they got all this money. But why are these people stealing from us? It's because the French government doesn't care for them. They're stealing from them. They're robbing them and benefiting themselves. This is why they're stealing. So he was like, damn, they were not wrong for trying to steal from us because they have been abused by their government. You see what I'm saying? So instead of me taking the anger out on them, I should place the anger on who should be in charge. And the example he gave was like, if someone stole your bike and then, you know, a week or two later, you go by and you see your bike chained up on some chains.
Right.
You go get some lock cutters and you come and cut it. And the police come and draw down on you. They're like, what are you doing? You're stealing. You're like, no, I'm not stealing. I'm taking what's mine back. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what's going to happen when we gain the kingdom. It's like, we're not coming in here and doing nothing evil. It's not out of malice because we hate the oppressors, because of how they look like they treat us. It's because we're taking what ours is back, man. Damn. That's not a crime in the Lord's eyes, man. That's justice. Damn. It's a difference. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna close it out, man. Give the Lord a hand.
So give Mordecai a hand. Give Esther a hand.
All right. So with that, the water for everybody tuned in. This is the closing of the Feast of Purim. All right. You got to read the announcements. Yeah.
We don't have to pay.
Okay, no sweat. All right, so we just gonna go ahead and clip them.
All right. Y'all Shimon Shai, rock a thumbs, all the brothers. Y'all Shimon thumb by Shimon Shai, total sisters. Class dismissed. Feast dismissed.